Imagine if while walking along the street, you suddenly felt the ground beneath your feet give way and you fell into a iron hole. It would be quite a shock, right? Well, what if instead of a hole in the ground, you fell into a brown dwarf? Would you survive such an event? Could you even reach the surface of such an object? And most importantly, what even is a brown dwarf? A brown dwarf is basically a large planet or a small star. They're about the size of Jupiter, which is huge, but they can have up to 80 times the mass of our giant gas planet. But brown dwarfs are not stars like our sun. They're much colder, and they emit infrared radiation rather than visible light. Because of this, brown dwarfs are very hard to spot against the backdrop of space. However, since they're larger than planets, brown dwarfs have enough gravity to hold themselves up, and they do and collapse under their own weight like normal stars do. Although brown dwarfs were only discovered in the late 20th century, scientists believe that they could actually be one of the most common objects in the universe. There are thought to be around 40 billion of them in the Milky Way. Many astronomers believe that these mysterious objects may even be the building blocks of the solar system. Some scientists suggest that all planets in the solar system were once brown dwarfs that got kicked out of the system early on by the gravitational pull of Jupiter. But what if you fell into one? Let's imagine a typical brown dwarf with a mass about twice that of Jupiter. If it were any bigger, it would start collapsing under its own gravity and become a regular star. The biggest problem for you would be getting through the incredibly dense atmosphere. Due to the relatively weak gravity of the brown dwarf, the atmosphere would be very extended. As you fall, you would encounter enormous atmospheric pressure, estimated to be around 100 times greater than Earth's. At this point, the air would be thick and heavy, making it difficult to move through. Just like when you try to walk through a crowded space, the denser the air, the slower you would be able to move. And although you could probably still breathe at this point, your lungs would be working much harder than usual. As you continue to descend further into the brown dwarf, the temperature would start to increase. Eventually, it would get so hot that breathing would be impossible. At around 2000 degrees Celsius, your clothes would catch fire and your body would start to burn. As you continue falling, the intense heat would eventually cause your body to turn to ash. So far, we haven't even reached the core of the brown dwarf, where things get even stranger. The core of a brown dwarf is thought to be made of exotic matter called quark matter. This is a state of matter in which protons and neutrons merge to form strange particles called quarks. It's believed that in the extremely high temperatures and pressures found in the cores of brown dwarfs, this unusual form of matter can exist. While quark matter has never been observed outside of particle accelerators, some scientists think that it might be the key to solving some of the biggest mysteries of the universe, such as the behavior of matter at very high energies and the nature of supernovas. But unfortunately for you, if you ever fell into a brown dwarf, you wouldn't live long enough to find out any of this, because by this point, you would be completely vaporized. So there you have it. Falling into a brown dwarf wouldn't be a fun experience. But hey, now we know what would happen if you fell into one. In the meantime, if you want to learn more about the amazing science that happens all around us, be sure to check out our other videos. We explore everything from the smallest atoms to the largest stars in the universe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.